We have an extraordinary, amazing guest joining us here on the Jim Masters Show, entertainment, lifestyle, celebrity talk show series. Acclaimed television, film, stage actress, producer, and so much more. The one and only Jill Jacobson is joining us from Los Angeles, California. And you know her from so many incredible TV series, movies, stage performances, and lots more. And we're honored to have her here. We're honored to have you here as well. Thanks for joining us. If this is your first time joining our talk show series, we're sort of bringing back the lost art of conversation like Cavett and Carson and some of the legends, as we always say at the top of the show, because we're always getting new viewers who are watching from around the world. We welcome you from wherever you're watching. Our home base here is the New York area in the United States. So we welcome everybody across the United States, Canada, Mexico, our viewers who watch from South America, all throughout Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, New Zealand. We welcome you and you and you and you. Thanks for stopping by. We always have a cool time here. Lots of levity, lots of love, lots of light, or as we call it, JMS Lovity, with our viewers and our guests who come in from Broadway and Hollywood, television, film, music, stage, culinary arts, sports, comedy, inspiration, health and wellness, science and nature, in general, life. And we're so excited to have you here. If you want to comment while the show is on and interact with each other and us, you can do that. We have a JMS Lovity Hall chat room that is exclusive and open to those who subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. When you do that, you can chat in our exclusive JMS Lovity Hall chat room while the show is on. And if you don't get a chance to do that while the show is on, you can always drop a comment underneath the episode on our YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up, like, and have a good time with us. Hope you're doing well. Busy day for me, of course, always, every day a busy day. Multiple radio shows, a couple of television shoots, writing scripts, all the stuff we do in this crazy business. Jill knows all about that. She's been doing this for a long time. And again, she's an acclaimed and beloved television, film, and stage actress. She's done it all, continues to do it all. She's got some exciting things that she wants to share with us as well. I'm going to talk about her prolific career. She's, again, somebody who is beloved in the industry. She's worked so hard, originally from Texas, and she actually studied at the University of Texas in Austin, radio, television, film, performance, and she got her Bachelor of Science degree. Then she moved out to LA, to Tinseltown, to realize her dream. Now, with the thick Texas accent and large anatomy, as she says, she was cast upon arrival, including such cult hits as the title role in Nurse Sherry. You may remember that as well. That's around the late 70s. And after numerous roles, including one in Ron Howard's Splash, Jill Jacobson was cast as sexy private eye Erin Jones in CBS's Falcon Crest. She was simultaneously cast as Daffy LaRue in the syndicated hit The New Gidget. And after Gidget, she went on to star in several television and film roles, including the recurring character of Chantel on Newhart, plus roles in both Star Trek The Next Generation and Star Trek Deep Space Nine, numerous roles in horror and sci-fi, as well as including Quantum Leap and Freddy's Nightmare, War of the Worlds, and the independent cult classic The Circle. Other prominent roles include numerous made-for-television movies, appearances on Murphy Brown, Who's the Boss, Uncle Buck, Arliss, Ghost Whisperer, Party Down, and Hung. A firm believer in reinventing herself and staying true to the genre of sci-fi and horror, Jill was seen as Barbara, the delusional mother from hell, in the feature film Last Look. And she's also in love with her dogs, and that's where you get the unconditional love as well. And she believes in adopting rescue dogs, and I think that's a beautiful thing that she does. She really loves what she does, and as I mentioned, she's been doing this and is highly acclaimed, highly beloved, highly revered in this industry. And here's a couple of clips that might bring back some memories of some of your favorite shows. I don't think there's a show, maybe other than I Dream of Jeannie, that she hasn't been a part of. Here's a few memories from the collection of Jill Jacobson doing her thing.
I speak for my husband, Louis the Lip here, when I tell you that he had no part in whacking Vince Bianchi. And even if he did, he doesn't remember. What did the doctor tell you? What are you trying to do, make me a widow? You promised the doctor not to do that anymore.
Excuse me for a minute, please.
You're gonna put yourself in a...
Hi, Mr. Ferris. Carol. Is everything okay?
Nana died, Jason.
We were looking at caskets. We were thinking maybe that one, the walnut.
Nana's gone and you were dumping me?
It's not you.
It's Lenore, isn't it?
What's wrong?
She is breaking up with me.
What? Jason. What's the difference between a divorce and a circumcision? With a divorce, you get rid of the whole schmuck. What's the difference between a musician and a pepperoni pizza? A pepperoni pizza can feed a family of 4. What does a tornado and a redneck divorce have in common? They both lose a trailer. Whoa, whoa. It only gets worse. My daughter just quit on me.
On her own mother. What did she do?
Singing shoe.
What is that?
Discount shoe center. We run local ads. She was our singing shoe.
Huh?
I went out with a man from California once. Proved to me that everything in Texas is bigger.
Take me up on my offer and fly out with Mom for Christmas.
What are you afraid of? Some tree-hugging fruitcake that might try to convert you?
They like to be called homosexuals. These be engraved.
What?
These soaps. Can I have them monogrammed?
Why would you want to do that?
Yes, actually. Okay. This is their website, and they will monogram anything. Just email them.
Really? What about slippers? I just bought my husband a pair of
Anything.
Thank you. Hello. This is Juliet. Are you my Romeo? What do you want me to do to you? Wrong extension. You don't have to tell me nada. I already know.
And yes, she is a comedian. She does stand-up comedy too. If you didn't know that, if you just know her from her incredible work on television and movies and so much more, her comedic timing is extraordinary. As I mentioned, Star Trek: The Next Generation, Falcon Crest. Yes, she was on Falcon Crest. Everybody knows her as Erin Jones on Falcon Crest, and so much more. War of the Worlds. Again, some of your favorite. Nurse Sherry, as we mentioned earlier as well. And the new Gidget. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Creepy Couch. And also Party Down. And Last Look. The Circle. And this is just some. Her range is extraordinary. Her talent is extraordinary. And as you just saw some clips from Funny or Die, she's done it all, continues to do it all. Our very special guest joining us again from Los Angeles, California, from Hollywood, the incomparable Jill Jacobson is joining us. Jill, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's so great. And I tell you, when you take a look at some of those clips, it just really shows your versatility. I mean, I don't think there's a role that you haven't or can't take on.
I enjoy that. I enjoy doing things that aren't necessarily like me, but I also like doing things that are somewhat like me. I guess that's why I was drawn to stand-up comedy, because you tell stories and you have a live audience that you can just tell stories and interact with. So, even if they heckle me, I like hecklers, actually.
How do you handle them?
I engage them. It's like if they think they're going to be funnier than me, I'm like, okay, bring it on. Let's see, and it's kind of fun. I mean, I don't usually have mean ones. They're usually drunk ones. and they just like to, they want to one up me. That's what a heckler kind of does, right? They want
Yeah.
to one up you.
I want to steal
And,
your thunder. Yeah.
sure, go ahead. Let's see what happens, I think
Right.
it's fun, I enjoyed that. But it
Yes.
does give you a new avenue of workability. But
Yes.
as an actor, I don't think there's a retirement age.
No, no, absolutely not. So when you left Texas with the college degree and all, and you went west, as they say, to LA, to Tinseltown, what happened in the beginning? Were you signed immediately to things, or did you have to really pound the pavement? Was there anything waiting for you?
Yeah, yeah.
Rent
Yeah,
payments.
there was sitting and waiting. When is Jill coming?
Yeah, Jill, we're waiting for you.
Yeah.
We've got
No,
the car waiting.
I knew no one.
Mm.
I wasn't Paul Newman's daughter or anything.
Right.
So I just came out. Actually, I had a couple of phone numbers or a couple of names of some Texas actors, some character actors, and I immediately called them, and they were happy to introduce me to people. And they introduced me to John Broderick, that gave me my first role in Bad Georgia Road, a movie with Gary Lockwood. I can't believe I'm remembering. I don't want to say it. I don't want to. Gary Lockwood and okay. I just want to. Anyway, so I got to be the stand-in. I auditioned with one line. He gave one line to audition with, and he said, "Okay, you're going to work tomorrow." And I was the stand-in for It'll Come to Me Later.
Sure.
Yeah, I was the female stand-in, and then the last day before we stopped shooting, he said, "Okay, you're going to be the actor tomorrow."
Wow.
And so that's how I got, and that was within the first 2 weeks of my arrival. And then I don't know how it happened. And then another introduction I got from one of the Texas actors was to this kind of sketchy, I'm going to say sketchy, producer, director, writer, notorious, Al Adamson.
Mm.
And I called him and he said, "Come on in." And mind you, this is the old days of Hollywood. So he was kind of notorious for the TNA movies, like the flight attendant movies, those sort of movies. He was very notorious. And so he said, and I was very booby. I did have a Texas accent. I had a little drawl. And anyway, he met with me and he said, "Okay, you're going to go to work tomorrow."
Wow.
And I had the starring role in this movie. And I just wanted to work, but I didn't know what that entailed. So I shoot this movie and I was scared. Scared to death. I mean, I was brand new. And I had actually signed up for acting class, and I couldn't make it to acting class because I was so busy working. Anyway, I do this movie called Nurse Sherry, and then I was embarrassed and I didn't want anyone to see it. And then years later, people started saying, "Oh my God, you're Nurse Sherry."
Yeah, like a cult following, right?
It became a cult hit. Oh my God, yes.
Could you imagine too that it really, you never know sometimes, right? That people find things later, they discover it, and then it becomes a cult hit.
I was such a baby. I was such a little baby. And I was so embarrassed that I would never claim it until years and years and years later.
Yeah.
After I had already heard it was a cult film.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, I bet you anything Quentin Tarantino knows this movie. I just had this feeling. And so there was a screening of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which by the way, I just adore that movie. So there was this screening and he was going to be there. So I quickly, RSVP'd, sat on the front row. And after the Q&A, I get people sending me pictures to autograph. And I had 2 4x6s of Nurse Sherry pictures. And I brought them with me to the screening, ran up to the stage after the Q&A, and I was holding the pictures like this. And I said, Quentin. And he turned around and he saw the pictures and he said, oh my, can I swear on the show?
He said, oh my God.
He said,
heavens
oh
to Betsy.
oh my effing God.
Oh,
You're
wow.
Nurse Sherry.
Wow. Even he was.
And he said, that's my favorite Al Adamson movie.
See?
And I stopped breathing.
Yeah,
I just stopped breathing. And I kept saying to myself, okay, you got to start breathing again. You got to start breathing.
Got to keep right.
Got to have some composure. It is Quentin Tarantino. And, but the reaction on his face was, I've got a picture of it. I should have sent it to you. But the reaction on his face was like, you're Nurse Sherry. And he was just so delighted. And then finally I got my composure back and said, before I die, could I please work with you? Are you doing a Star Trek movie next?
Mm-hmm.
I happen to be a Star Trek actress.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so famished
yes.
by the fact that I was Nurse Sherry that he just kept staring at me thinking about Al Adamson and Nurse Sherry. Now, if you want me to tell you a little piece of trivia.
Sure. We love that. We lovity that.
Al Adamson was not a beloved man.
Mm.
He was, like I said, sketchy. And there's a documentary about him. And of course, I'm in the documentary. And he had a groundsman, a groundkeeper at his house. And apparently the groundkeeper didn't like him. Maybe he was withholding funds.
Mm.
And he was buried alive in his jacuzzi.
Wow. Hmm.
So apparently he was knocked on the head, unconscious, put in the jacuzzi with cement. It's pretty gruesome.
Wow.
Kind of like his movies.
Yeah, huh?
Although Nurse Sherry isn't that, but the end of me in Nurse Sherry, which isn't pretty, but I'm not dead.
Right.
But it's not a pretty ending.
But amazing that all these years later, people still remember it and have this cult following. After Nurse Sherry, what happened next? Did you go straight to Falcon Crest?
No,
or
not
what was
straight.
next? Sort of meandering through, right?
I was always a sucker for love. And, I tried to stay focused. So I was always in an acting class, always working.
Yeah.
And my teacher, I had the greatest teacher in the world, Peggy Fury. And, like all the young movie stars were in my class. Sean Penn, Jeff Goldblum, Annette O'Toole, Bruno Kirby. She even had Lily Tomlin and, Nicolas Cage. Everybody was in Peggy's class.
Yes.
All the young movie stars. And so I immersed myself in that. And then one thing led to another. But I fell in love with my executive producer on my first TV pilot, which was Bulba. That was my first pilot for ABC.
That's right. Yes.
It's really a good pilot. It should have gone to series. It's like you can pull it up online.
Yeah.
It's funny and it's really good. the talent in the pilot is Bill Hicks is in it. You know, Joyce Van Patten,
Yeah.
Armin Shimmerman, also Star Trek. I mean, the cast is out. Greg Gidson. That it's so good. So that was 1981, and my executive producer on my first pilot ended up being my first husband, Greg Strangis.
That's
So,
right. Yeah.
you know, love would kind of get in the way of certain things. But one thing led to another, and I got Falcon Crest. Falcon Crest was designated as one guest star role. And then they could use me as an evil private eye. And there was a place for that in the show for Miss Jones.
Yes.
And I got to put mealy moths in the vineyards, and I got to hijack big truckfuls of wine. The first year I was on the show, I was working for Jane Wyman, which was such an honor to work with Jane Wyman.
Oh, absolutely. Right.
One time we were getting ready, or we were in the middle of shooting a scene, and one of the crew members said, Miss Wyman, Ronnie's on the phone. And I was just tickled. It just tickled me so much that she said, excuse me, I have to take this call. And I was like, you know, I mean, I'm this young baby, and she's running off to take a phone call with Ronnie Reagan, who was her husband.
That's right.
Anyway, so that was a delight. And then the second year, they actually gave me a love interest. The most gorgeous, talented David Selby.
Yeah.
Who I learned more and more and more about TV acting. I mean, what a great actor to work with.
And you worked with Lorenzo Lamas was on that set too, right?
Yes, he was on the set. But my love interest was, my second year was David Selby, and my first year was Jane Wyman. So I was so grateful and so happy. And then I got a second TV series right after the first year of Falcon Crest. So I was shooting 2 shows at the same time.
What was the second one?
The New Gidget.
Oh, that's right. Right after. That's amazing, huh?
No,
2 at the same time. Yeah, 2 at the same time.
While I was shooting Falcon Crest, I was shooting The New Gidget.
How did you manage that? How were you able to sort of balance all that out? That's busy
Well, the
times.
production managers. It wasn't I didn't have to do anything. I just had to show up.
Yeah.
But it was the unit production managers that had to battle it out. We're still going today. We're still going tomorrow.
Right.
And I just had to kind of show up and talk about different characters.
Right.
I mean, Miss Jones was diametrically opposite from LaRue.
Yes. How'd you like being a part of that, The New Gidget?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Karen and I became best friends. I mean, we were playing best friends, but it was impossible not to fall in love with her. I love her to this day. We're still really close. She's an amazing woman.
That's so cool, huh? And
I like seeing her picture up there.
yeah, and well, there's another cool shot we've got of you, which is really nice. That's a great shot too. 2 shots there. So that was a great role. You really enjoyed that role on Gidget.
Yes, I did. I enjoyed both. I mean, one minute I got to do sex scenes with David Selby, and the next day, you know, I was wild and crazy with Karen on The New Gidget. He's awesome too.
I tell you, yeah, that's really cool. So then, with the new Gidget and Falcon Crest both happening at the same time, I
Yes.
mean, your phone must have been really ringing. What happened?
No.
You know, a lot of people do say that. They're like, no, not quite.
Well, the advantage was I was on TV every night. The disadvantage was I'd have to turn things down. That might have been a good opportunity. I had to turn certain things down that I really would have loved doing.
Is there anything that you recall that you had to turn down?
Yes,
and
actually, there was one thing that it was a Ron Howard pilot. I forgot. I think it was a TV. I forgot the name of it, but it was a Ron Howard pilot that. Yeah, I had to turn it down, and I was essentially doing. There were times I was doing nothing while I was on the set of Gidget, and it was coinciding with the week that I was doing Gidget. And so that was sad. And then afterwards, talk about not having my phone ring off the hook. I opened up my own management company. And my first husband got me the breakdowns. These are all illegal things, okay? There's so many years in between. Nobody's going to put me in prison now. And I don't think they'd put me in prison for getting the breakdowns now anyway. But anyway, so I got the breakdowns, and I had two other actors come over every day, and we go through the breakdowns, and I saw Next Generation breakdown of the role of Vanessa. And I thought, oh, whoa, this would be appropriate. And I submitted myself, and Jeannie Lowry liked me. She's the casting director, and she liked me. And so she brought me in, and I auditioned for it. And it was between me and another actress. And ultimately, I'm so grateful for that. Ultimately, I was chosen for Vanessa. And to this day, people really believe Vanessa's like the ultimate woman.
Yeah.
In many ways.
Yeah.
Sweet and kind and booby. Sweet, kind, booby, and I mean, not a great poker player. I mean, everything I'm doing in the episode of the Royale is about playing craps or blackjack, or I mean, I'm at every table and I'm blowing on the dice there, but I'm losing. Losing everything.
Yeah.
And I'm not the best poker player. But I'm very sweet.
But you're very sweet.
Very sweet.
And that goes a long way.
And people really like Vanessa.
Yes.
You didn't see it, right? I mean,
sure. Yes.
You did see it?
For those that are joining us, Star Trek: The Next Generation. Sure is Vanessa. Yes. And where does that role rank for you in terms of roles that you've done? You've done so many diverse roles over the years. Where does Vanessa fit in for you?
Well, let's face it. There are so many Trekkies out there. And I mean, of all that's Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
But there's so many Trekkies out there that it became, to my surprise, it became the most acclaimed, or the highest profile.
Yeah.
Higher profile than everything else. I didn't expect that either. I mean, it's funny. You never know.
You never know, right?
And I'm really praying that my next possible high profile will be even stronger. I mean, I've done stage work
Yes.
and I'm so proud of, but not everybody gets to see that, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, Tennessee Williams and Clifford Odets, and I actually, when I was too young to play Linda Lohman, I played Linda Lohman in Death of a Salesman. And but people, you know, if you're not around this vicinity, you don't see it unless you travel with it.
The exposure that movies and television provides is extraordinary. War of the Worlds is another that you had an opportunity to be a part of. Tell us about that.
Another alien.
Yeah.
Another alien without the Bajorn nose.
Right.
That was amazing. I got to fly to Canada, Toronto, and we shot in a deserted prison. And it was freezing cold. I mean, it was just freezing cold. They told me it was the coldest day of the year.
Wow.
I doubt that now, but
Yeah.
they gave me like 3 sets of silk underwear to wear. But I was kind of moving around a lot.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, I got to work with Canadian actors and they were wonderful. And everybody was so kind and so sweet. And, you know, being in Canada was such a treat. Such a treat. I loved it. I'd go anywhere to work.
Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
But
and
I was a bad girl in this. I was very bad. They killed me.
Yeah. Do you like those roles? Is it a challenge? Do you like taking on those kinds of roles?
I like I said, I love diversity. I love being able to do something goofy and crazy. And then I love doing Linda Lohman and something that's, I mean, it's harder on you emotionally to do really sad roles. It's just harder because I just go there. But that's my dog sneezing.
Cutie. Oh, they love when they see the dogs.
Yeah, well, I don't know how you can do it. You can't.
Oh, I think we see the top of the head there.
There he is.
Yes.
That's Denny.
Tell us who that is there.
This is Denny. He's my husband.
Unconditional love for Denny.
Unconditional. Huh? He is the most beautiful. I'm sorry, it's such a mess because it's been raining here. So you're looking at a tarp where you could have seen a beautiful patio.
Oh, so the weather's impacting California. Yeah.
It's been terrible. But anyway, this is my Benny and Kowalski's downstairs. And if I had one more arm, I would have a third.
He'd have the third.
Or a boyfriend. You never hear that in your
the trifecta, right?
Yeah, it would be because I mean, I feel like we should rescue all the babies. You know.
So they are rescue dogs?
Of course.
Yeah.
Since they were babies.
How long have you been doing that great work?
Well, it's not great work. I mean, if it was great work, I would have 1 million of them.
You take them all home, I know.
Yeah, I would try because they deserve it. They're so amazing. I don't want to see them suffer. I mean, to see a beautiful heart like this, like my baby, suffer would kill me. I couldn't stand it. So I'm not doing the work that some of these rescue people are doing.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, they're devoting their whole life to just this.
To doing it, right?
And I'm trying to balance everything here. But you just can't get better than, period. You just can't get better than that. that is,
That's
it's
tops.
pure love. It's pure love.
That is tops.
Yeah. I always think about them first. Like, if I have to fly somewhere to do a job, who's going to take care of them? And, so I'm praying for a significant other, that somebody that can take care of my babies, or maybe I can bring my babies with me.
You could bring the
Because
babies.
we're so connected, because of COVID.
Yeah.
You get in a habit of just being with them. They're everything in the world to you. So now that, people are branching out and going places, it's gonna break their heart if I have to go away at all. Like, if I go away for 15 minutes to an hour and I come back home, then he's like, she's back. Oh my God, she's back. You would think they can't stand it.
Right.
They honestly, no, wait, how am I going to do this here? Okay, that's better. Okay. Anyway, they can't stand separation.
Mm.
And I have a hard time with it too.
How did you get through this pandemic with the fact that we really weren't with people like we were before? It's tough, huh? Still is on many levels.
I used my time wisely. I had a hip replacement and a knee replacement.
Mm.
So I used my time wisely, and I expanded my kitchen.
Oh, you did?
So all the time was used wisely.
For long overdue projects.
Totally. I'm obsessed with my kitchen, and I love to cook. And
Do you?
I'm good.
What's a Jill specialty?
Oh, very healthy, but then I started veering into Asian.
Ooh.
And my friends know who I am as a chef. But like what I made the other night was, if I tell you, I might have to kill you. But
We'll get hungry, huh? This is a foodie crowd, so
is it a foodie crowd?
Yes, so you'll get them with the food. Yes.
Okay. Well, I will share a recipe, and it's kind of a steal because okay, you take an already made, if you want, an already made guacamole, which is good.
Sure.
Okay. And then you doctor it up with garlic spread, one of those garlic spreads that's just pure garlic and oil and some salt. And you doctor it up with that. So you add those two things together, and then you add like a really good salsa, like a medium salsa, mild, not too spicy, but you add that together, and just a pinch of lemon juice, and it's amazing. It's truly amazing. I made that the other night. I made something so simple, but if you doctor it up with spices and herbs, it becomes something that is noteworthy. Yeah. When I was on Deep Space Nine, they were talking about making me a recurring character on Deep Space Nine. And I was the owner of a restaurant. My character, that's her, Chalan Aroya. And I was the owner of a restaurant called, I forgot the name temporarily. Anyway, so I was the owner of the restaurant, and I thought, if I'm going to be a recurring character, I want to write a cookbook. And I want Paramount to back me on the cookbook, because I've always been obsessed with cooking. So, but then when that episode aired, Broken Link, they have this Trekkie people. What is it when you when everybody chimes in on the show,
Oh
like
yeah.
like
Yeah.
like your show.
Yeah. They're all coming in and commenting and
Yeah, it's like almost an ongoing podcast or something. I don't know how to just anyway. It's a tricky thing, and
yeah.
everybody was chatting when my episode aired, and I was a very sexual character, and that's what I was supposed to be. I touch Odo, and he melts,
Mm.
and I flirt with him. And then he starts to melt. And the whole episode is about Odo melting. So people on the chat line for the Trekkies, and I found out because my friend told me, they were calling me a hussy and that I was a bad girl.
It's an old
And I was
school
a
word,
flirt.
huh?
Yeah, they said I was a hussy. And they didn't want Odo with me. They wanted Odo with Nana Visitor on the show.
Ah,
And I had come across very sexual, but that was my character, to
right.
be sexual. And anyway, that I think was the reason I wasn't asked back as that character of Chalan Aroya. Unfortunately, I would have loved it so much because
Mhm.
I was such a girly girl, and being connected to a restaurant. Oh, the name of the restaurant was the Celestial Cafe. That was my
Okay.
restaurant, the Celestial Cafe. And to be connected to the restaurant and thinking constantly about, oh, now I can write a cookbook and I'm going to have Paramount behind me. And I had all these wild ideas. And then I kind of put two and two together and I thought, well, if they're calling me a hussy and if they think I'm too sexual, they may not ask me back. And they didn't.
Mm.
But I can be non-sexual,
Yeah,
Star Trek, if that's what you want.
absolutely. That's right. You also worked with Scott Bakula, Quantum Leap.
Oh my goodness.
Huh?
He's
Yeah.
okay. There's so many stories connected to the Quantum Leap story.
Yeah.
So many stories. I don't know if you read anything, but anyway, number one story is, so Scott Bakula was playing this very schleppy, unattractive rabbi. And the opening of the old Quantum Leap was he'd look in a mirror and he would see who he was playing, because he was supposed to right the wrongs in the world. And he looks in the mirror at the beginning of the episode, and there's this scrawny, unattractive, I'm sorry, whoever played it, scrawny, unattractive rabbi, Jewish guy. I'm Jewish, so I can say that.
Yes.
And so he looks in the mirror and he says, "Oy vey, I'm a rabbi." And so I was the first scene up for the week. It was a guest star. And I'm supposed to be making a confession to the rabbi.
Mm-hmm.
And my confession was, "Oh, Rabbi, I cheated on my husband."
Mm.
And I'm telling him who I cheated with and how horrible I feel. And I start crying at the end of that scene. And but I should have won an Emmy because Scott Bakula was so gorgeous, so handsome, so wow. And I'm supposed to look at him like he's this rabbi,
The
unattractive
rabbi,
guy,
right.
and not be attracted. It's impossible to look at that guy and not be attracted. Impossible. And oh God, look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, huh?
It's so beautiful. Yeah. So, but okay, the biggest story connected to Quantum Leap was who was his anyway. So at the end of my scene that I shot that day, when the director called cut, I said, would you mind telling me who's playing my love interest or the man that I'm supposed to be having the affair with. And mind you, ever since I was a little girl, I had a major crush on Russ Tamblyn from West Side Story. And at the end of my shoot, and crying that I'm having this affair, I asked the director, who is this man? And he says, it's Russ Tamblyn and he'll be here tomorrow. And I went,
Wow.
and he said, you're going to be able to hang out with him all week. So not only was my crush from since I was 10 years old or whatever going to be on the set for the next week, but I followed him around like a puppy dog. And he started telling me stories that you would love. If you get a chance, I don't know how he's feeling or what he's doing now, but what a guy. If I were you, I'd want to have him on the show.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how he's doing right now, but he told me stories of the set of West Side Story. And when Natalie Wood arrived with her entourage wearing a mink coat, and she's supposed to play this poor little, Latin girl, and she comes with her entourage. And then she pulls him over because she wants him to listen to her recordings of the songs. And he's telling me all these stories about how, the opening song, When You're a Jet, how they started off with the right foot. I think they rehearsed it for a month or two or whatever, that opening shot. And he's telling me all these amazing stories. They started off, Jerome Robbins was the choreographer, and they started off working on it. They'd start on the right foot. And then the day before they shot it, after rehearsing it for 2 months or whatever, Jerome Robbins said, okay, tomorrow when we shoot, I want you to start on the left foot. And he's telling me all these intricate stories.
Wow. Yeah.
And then he's telling me stories of being a major movie star in the 60s. And all the women, I better stop here. Because they're juicy stories. Very juicy. And I just followed him around. And he just confided everything into me. And it was my childhood crush.
Isn't that amazing?
That was Quantum Leap for me. That was probably one of the best experiences of my life. And it was only a guest star. It was only like 1 week. But it was just, we shot in a synagogue and we were dancing the hora. And I got to dance with Russ Tamblyn. I mean,
You're like a little girl all over again.
Well, it was that moment, that whole week, and then the most recent experience I had that I could barely breathe was the Quentin Tarantino.
Oh yeah.
When he just said, "Oh my God, oh my effing God," is what he said.
The nurse
And I
Sherry.
held up 2 pictures.
Yeah.
And that's when I stopped breathing. And I had to remind myself, please start breathing again.
Start breathing again. Please start breathing again.
Yeah.
You took each other's breath away.
I don't know. I mean, I think he recovered a lot quicker.
He recovered quicker.
That guy's brilliant. He's so brilliant. Oh, please, Quentin, if you're watching the Jim Masters show.
Of course. Of course. Absolutely.
Oh, please, Quentin.
Yes.
Oh, God, that film did you love that? I love that film.
Yeah.
I think it's just amazing. Everything he did in that film, between the script and the music and how he turned the Manson family around.
It's amazing. Another one, you were in The Circle. Tell us about that one.
Oh, that's crazy. We did it in one shot.
Really?
One shot. And in the first 15 minutes, if we didn't have everything perfect, we would stop and start all over because we were doing it in one shot.
Yeah.
So everything had to be perfect. And I got to work with somebody, just Angela Bettis. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
She's an amazing actress. And I got to create my own choreography because, the camera was always the other character in your scene. Like in the scenes with myself and Angela Bettis, the camera was the third character. So everything I had to do, and I was playing a character that was stoned out of her mind. And so I had to work it out with the cameraman, where I was going, if I was going to do a twirl, if I was going to move this way instead of this way. So it's pretty, too bad nobody really saw it. Too bad nobody really saw the circle.
I bet you there's somewhere people online or something, or one of those nostalgic networks or something. They might be able to call it up and see it, huh?
It would be great. It's there's some really good work in that. David Proval, Angela Bettis. There were seven of us or 8 of us in the movie.
Yeah.
And just the idea of doing it all in one take.
It's unbelievable to be able to do that like that. That's another Last Look too.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Won a lot of awards in horror festivals.
Yes.
I kept winning. I was bad mama. I was a bad mama. And I kept winning Best Actress awards for being a bad mama.
That's
I was very bad. But, it was my boyfriend at the time kept saying, well, are you good in the film? And I said, it's a genre piece. It's a horror film. And he said, but are you good in it? I said, well, it's a horror film. If you can understand what I'm saying, it's not pretty.
Right.
It's a horror film. And he couldn't, he's not in the business, so he couldn't understand what I was really saying.
Right.
I just warned him. I said, just be prepared.
Just so you know.
It's not pretty.
Right.
Although that shot is kind of pretty right there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a nice one.
My director tried to make everything pretty, but it's kind of gruesome.
Also, the Stars series Party Down, as they were by the trailers.
Yes. Yeah. Megan Mullally.
Yes.
What an amazing actress she is. I had to just shut up and let her. She was riffing and riffing and riffing. And when somebody's that good riffing, they brought back the series.
Yeah.
They brought back so Party Down's back. Quantum Leap is back.
That's right. All retro coming back.
Everything is coming back.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. People didn't know about Party Down. A couple people did, and they were like, "Oh my God, that is such a great show!"
Right.
But now people can. It's so weird. It's like no new ideas out there, huh?
And so they're bringing back, right? And sometimes it depends. Like they've done so many different versions of the Twilight Zone movies and colored versions as far as, in color. And I still like the original, the black and white Rod Serling versions are still the lighting, the time period, the shadowing, the music, just the rudimentary way some of episodes were done. Just
Well,
Genius.
pardon me for saying so, but Quantum Leap with Dean Stockwell and Scott Bakula, and Dean Stockwell with that cigar. And
Yeah.
he was
Classic.
hysterically funny.
Yes.
And the two of them together were hysterically funny. And this one's not. And yet it is the same production people
It's
that
like
I love.
it's like the movie, one of my favorite movies, which was or is, there's several, but Jack Lemmon and Sandy Dennis and the Out of Towners.
I agree.
And then they remade it with Steve Martin and Goldie Hawn,
Who I love.
and are fabulous. But the Jack Lemmon, Sandy Dennis with the
Amazing.
Quincy Jones music and this
What was the line that Sandy Dennis kept saying? Where, and she with that voice.
George.
George.
Right. Yeah.
With that voice of hers. And
yes. And Jack Lemmon, I mean, was absolutely perfect.
the
And
chemistry.
the time period, that time period in New York, and just the whole, trying to survive everything. They just were absolutely.
I totally agree.
You're going to hear from me, Winkler. What's your name? What's your number? Yeah, it's
Oh my
Kellerman,
goodness.
George Kellerman.
I wish people would see.
I love Jack Lemmon. Yeah.
The youth of America, are they going to actually see these masterful productions? Are they just going to wait and see what it's thrown to
The
them
remakes
now?
of things, right?
It's not as good. Shouldn't be saying that. Shouldn't be saying this. Is somebody listening to me?
I know what you mean. Sometimes it's
I
better
want to work. I want to work.
leave things alone, right?
Leave it alone and let, you know what, comedy is our salvation.
Yes.
Even in drama. I mean, look at Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
It's like everything she does from Sophie's Choice has an element of humor. Everything. And that's why she's such a master. She's so masterful because everything she does has an element of humor.
And some people might not realize the background that you have in it as a stand-up yourself. I mean, this is a whole other thing that has coincided with your incredible roles in films and television, is the comedic side and doing stand-up, the Laugh Factory. I mean, you've been all over. When did that develop? And when did you realize that you did definitely have that funny bone?
Well, it was 2011 that I began doing it all over LA. And, but it was I was with a bunch of actors, and one of the actors they were laughing at everything I did on stage. And I wasn't doing it necessarily for laughs, but everybody was laughing at everything I was doing on stage. And this woman comes up to me and said, if you take a stand-up comedy class, I will book you right away, immediately. And I said, okay, sure. And I took it, and she told me where to go, and I took the class. I loved the class. And but I loved it even more performing. So our graduation exercise was getting to perform at the Improv, which is, I love the Improv so much. And I'm going to be performing on April 24th at the Improv. And so our graduation exercise was getting to perform after finishing the class. And one of the things the teacher said was, this was her advice, don't ever do a joke that you haven't perfected in front of an audience. If you haven't perfected it in front of an audience, do not do it on stage that day. Which was words of wisdom, right? You would think it would be words of wisdom. So that morning before I performed, I went for a dog walk with my ex-husband. And we're doing our dog walk, and I'm throwing out my lines of what I'm going to say on stage that day. And one thing led to another, and a new joke popped up. Just popped up as we were walking the dogs. And I thought, oh, that's a really good joke. I got to do that one. That's a really good joke. And then I thought about her words saying, don't ever, ever, ever do that unless you've practiced it in front of an audience. And I thought, screw that. I got to do this joke. And it killed. It just killed. It was the funniest joke ever. And I mean, it was almost standing ovation joke. That was the reaction I got. And it was just, when you're up there and you're just even trying new material, and what I do is I talk to my audience. I don't like separate myself.
Right.
I include them, and I'll make up names for who they are. And then I just include them, and it becomes kind of a party that we're having together. And I flirt. I also flirt. Being an older broad, I still flirt. And then these younger guys think I'm flirting with them because that's my persona. And then after the show, they line up at the stage and they're saying I'm available. And I'm like, but I'm not really a cougar.
I have 3 dogs I'm in love with at home.
Two. I have 2.
2.
Benny and Kowalski. And a third would be great. But like I said, I need one more hand.
Right.
One more.
Yeah.
2-legged
or 4?
Well, I wouldn't mind a 2-legged. But I'm not really a cougar.
Right.
But the guys line up and they go, I call young men, I call them zebras.
Zebras.
And then I say, because cougars eat zebras. They don't really, but I made that up.
But you.
And so I say, so you're a zebra. And I
And
riff
you're like,
on that.
huh?
I riff on that. Yeah, it's fun. It's super fun. But they buy into it.
So how do you describe your comedic style?
It's a bit on the sexual side. It's conversational.
Provocative.
It's story. I love telling stories. I've always loved telling stories, except when I was too shy to do that, which was when I was really young. I was very shy. Yeah. But it's conversational. It's storytelling, for sure. And it's sexual. Even for an old broad. I mean, who knows? I may have to change it, but maybe not. Right? Is there an age limit to being sexual? I don't know.
Now they talk a lot about, with all of the changes in society and everything that's happened, that a lot of people who are in comedy have had to change their routines. Have you had to alter anything as well? Like some have said, well, a Don Rickles wouldn't be able to do the Don Rickles routine today.
An insult comment.
The sensitivity of today and things of that nature.
With all those snowflakes, right?
All the things that people are very ultra sensitive about. How about you? Have you had to alter anything or take anything out or shift anything around as a result?
Well, who knows what's going to happen on the 24th. I do want to make sure that, I don't offend anyone, but I'm not an insult comic. I would never, it's just kind of not my persona to be an insult comic.
Right.
But I do like using certain words, and there's so much reality that is funny now. You don't have to dig very deep for the humor that's going on in reality.
Life is crazy, isn't it?
It's beyond crazy, don't you think?
I think it's beyond is right. Have you, you've probably been inspired by just so many things that have been going on in the last couple of years.
Well, it's you're either going to laugh or you're going to cry.
Yes.
And you know, the irony of, in the olden days, I always thought that the government was like a supreme place of, you had to be smart. Okay, I shouldn't go there. You know where I'm going. So it's kind of like, it is.
Yeah, you mean
funny,
you had to care about people, and right.
right? And just the reality of humanity. It's humanity. And if we can really focus, who's really good at the humanity is like Sarah Silverman. She's big on humanity. And Amy Schumer, I love Amy Schumer. But there's a kindness that we all have to recognize, that people come to a comedy show to escape and have fun and laugh, and you don't want to be banged over the head by things that are going to hurt. You want to get banged over the head by something that's going to make you chuckle. And chuckling, like I watch Seth Meyers at night, and almost all the time, and I'll be alone in the kitchen watching Seth Meyers, and I inevitably chuckle by myself because he can be so silly and so funny. And I love that element of silly.
Yes.
You take a reality and then you just bring out the silly, and it's so nurturing. It's nurturing for the comic and it's nurturing for the audience. So you don't have to be mean. There's no reason to be mean. I don't know what Don Rickles would be doing now, but he always was a bit abrasive to me.
Yeah.
I always got a little like,
Right.
Like I remember, you never brought up Newhart, by the way.
That's right, Newhart.
Never brought up. But let me just tell you.
A little bit in the introduction, but tell us about it. Yeah.
Okay, so that was a big deal, by the way.
Oh,
He's a
yes.
recurring character on the Newhart, his last show.
Yeah, Chantal.
Yeah. So I was a very loquacious waitress in the gun and musket room, and
good word, loquacious.
And I love words. And so, but the thing that two things. Number one, when I was a little girl, another little girl thing, when I was like 5, 6, really young, Ed Sullivan. Remember Ed Sullivan? It's like you watched Ed. I mean, I don't know about you, but David Steinberg.
A very good shoe.
Obviously. So, like, this generation has no idea what we're talking about, but they can look it up. They can Google it. If they want, because it's fun to Google. I love Googling. Anyway, so David Steinberg was a regular on the Ed Sullivan Show. And he would come on and he would do this joke about, and mind you, I was like 5 or I don't know how old. I was really young, but he really affected me. And he would say that his whole life, he never ate pork because his father was a rabbi. And his father told him that if he ate pork, he would be stupid. He would become stupid. And so he never wanted to eat pork because his father told him, you're going to get stupid if you eat pork. So, so I get cast on the Newhart.
We're not having the pork chops tonight. Put them away.
So my whole life, I just thought that was hysterical. And, you memorize things sometimes when you're really little. And so all of a sudden I get cast on the Newhart show. And my first director was David Steinberg.
Wow.
this is kind of like the Russ Tamlin story, right? How everything.
Yes.
That's why the memoir is so interesting, because they're not going to have that today. The Utes of America. So my first director is David Steinberg, and I must tell you that he was a bit aloof. My first day, he was a bit aloof, and I thought, how can I get David Steinberg to like me? Boom! I went up and said, I got to tell you, I never ate bacon because of you. He went, huh? Huh?
Yeah.
And I said, well, you used to say that if you ate pork, it would make you stupid.
Right.
And I don't want to be stupid. All of a sudden, he loved me. I remembered his joke from the Ed Sullivan Show. So we became fast friends.
Mm.
And my first episode was heavy choreography. I was a waitress, and I had the thing that you carry all the glasses on, and a tray.
Yes, sort of the
I
tray.
had a tray full of 1 million glasses, and it was Bob Newhart and Mary Fran, who was the sweetest woman in the world, and Tom Poston at the table. I don't think Peter Scolari was at the table. Anyway, I think it was just Tom Poston, Mary Fran, and Bob Newhart at the table, and I had a tray full of glasses. And mind you, I've never been a good waitress. Never been a good waitress. So this was a lot of work for me. So David Steinberg gave me his director that was following him for the week. He had a following director, a new guy that's working to be a director. And so that was his guy. And he said, you work with Jill. So for 1 week, he choreographed me saying my lines, which were all jokes, saying my lines and serving this one, and serving this one without having it fall. And there was a huge studio audience, right? So everybody was like holding their breath, particularly David Steinberg, holding their breath. Is she going to do it without dropping anything? That was my first episode on the Newhart show. And with the joke, serve, and not look like I was even thinking about it, right?
Right. What was it like working with Bob Newhart?
Oh.
Yeah.
Now I'm having an emotion. Oh my God.
And Mary Fran, we lost too early as well.
Too early.
She used to be on all the soap operas too, I remember. Yeah.
Why am I getting tears in my eyes? Okay. So one of the breaks in between is so easy when you look. Anyway, so there was a break in between rehearsing and shooting and everything. And we don't shoot until the studio audience is there. Of 1 million people.
Right.
1 million people.
Yeah.
It might as well be 1 million people.
Yeah.
It wasn't really, but it might as well be. Anyway, so we had this break, and Bob Newhart is sitting at a table by himself. And I just went, and I sat right next to him and said, how do you know when it's funny? How do you really know? And this is what he said to me. You never really know. And that was my answer. And I took it with me every other comedy job I had were the Newhart pauses.
Yes.
Because that's how he made everything funny.
Mm-hmm.
Were the Newhart pauses.
Exactly.
And it was just like
Yeah.
And as a young actor, you don't know that you're allowed that,
To do that.
because usually it's speed it up, speed it up, speed it up.
Keep going. Right.
But it was like, if you watch him today,
Mm-hmm.
his whole MO was
The pregnant pause. Yeah.
that was him.
Yeah.
And he did it so like easily in front of me.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's exactly what I asked.
Yep.
And he just gave me my answer.
Legend.
It was pretty
Yeah.
amazing being on that show.
Oh, I don't doubt that as well. Even a web series.
Daryl and Daryl,
Oh, yes.
they
They're
would come
crazy.
into the gun and musket room, and then we would have to hold for huge laughs just by their arrival. I guess a lot of people that might be watching have no idea who Larry, Daryl, and Daryl were.
And how classic was the final episode where he's back in bed with
bed.
Suzanne Plachette? Bob, Bob, what's the problem, Bob?
Oh my
You know,
God.
and he
goosebumps.
dreamed that whole series was a dream. How phenomenal that was for a wrap up.
And where is that now?
You don't see.
Where is it now?
I know everything.
Where are these masters of comedy now?
True, right.
I mean, we
like
got a
like
whole
the
cut.
like the Carl Reiners.
Oh my God, look at that. That's me.
Carl Reiner.
I was the MC of this show. I got to be the MC.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
The master of ceremonies, or mistress of ceremonies, however they say it now.
I got to make jokes, and
Got
they
to make
laughed.
jokes.
Isn't
Yes.
that wild? Oh,
Peter
you didn't ask-
Bogdanovich, another
oh my
great
God,
one.
look at that.
Another
Oh,
another
wow.
legend. And a web series too, La Cucina.
Yeah, in my kitchen, my old kitchen before I fixed it.
Oh, really? That was
I
it.
think,
You did
yeah,
that
well,
there?
it's bigger now.
Yeah.
I
Before.
love cooking. And that man, Ben de Gregorio, that's his name.
Yeah.
Master chef. What an amazing guy. I can't say enough about him.
How cool, huh?
Yeah. But you didn't ask me about one of the highlights of my life was being the spokeswoman for the American Cancer Society.
I did a public affairs show I hosted and produced for them for a number of years. And what a great organization, huh?
Oh, they're gone now.
Yeah. So much has changed, hasn't it?
I'm saying it again. We've had a really good time. And it's unfortunate that it's gone.
How long were you the spokesperson? Yeah.
They flew me first class, of course, all
Yeah.
over the country to make speeches and make appearances.
That's wonderful.
And it culminated with the black tie formal
Yeah.
ball.
Yeah.
It
The
was
gala.
called the American Cancer Society Ball.
Yeah.
And they sat me. Oh, I wish you had this picture. It's easy to find. I wish you had this picture. It culminated with the American Cancer Society Ball, and they flew me to Washington, D.C. with my first husband, and they gave me my own chauffeur for the weekend, and he was to drive us anywhere we wanted to go. And it culminated with the ball, which was the last night. And they sat me, myself and my husband, they sat us at a table with, you ready? Charlie Bronson and Jill Ireland. I was sitting with Charlie Bronson and Jill Ireland.
That's incredible.
And, she wasn't doing very well. She had cancer, and she had her assistant with her. And at one point, Charlie turned to her and whispered something. And he kept looking at me, and she started looking at me. And And she said she did this, and I kind of knew what he was going to say. So he comes over to me. I was sitting across the table from them, the same little table, and he gets down on one knee. I wish you were here. I'd see more of a reaction. He gets down on one knee and he says, "That's it. You got it. How did you get that so quickly? Oh, you're fast."
I'm fast.
He gets down on one knee. And
we're on the East Coast. We move fast.
Oh, wow. And he says, "May I please have this dance?" That's me. And
incredible.
I turned to my husband and he said, "Go."
You go. Yes, that's right.
And that's us dancing.
It's incredible.
Is that the most amazing picture?
That's fantastic. That's classic, huh? That is absolutely classic. Your whole career continues to be. What are some of the blessings and joys in your life that continue to propel you forward to still do this? You've done it so long. You're so brilliant at it. You love it. You're so enthusiastic and passionate about it. You care about people. You want to entertain people, make them think, make them feel, put a smile on their face as well, engage them. You're into, the humanistic side of living, which is so important. What are some of those blessings and joys that keep you, fortified and doing it for the good of all of us?
I had a health scare not too long ago. And I thought, maybe it's time for me to go, because I felt that people were not listening and getting very rude, and there was so much hate.
Yeah.
And I'm not a proponent of that.
Not me either. Empathy and kindness. Yeah.
And if we don't have that, I just thought
it all falls apart if you don't have it.
Right. And that's why I thought maybe it's time for me to go, because where's the kindness? Anyway, so it looked like I might have survived the health scare.
Okay.
And pretty big health scare.
Yeah.
And anyway, I thought, okay, then maybe there's a reason for me being here now. And maybe it is to make the world, or my microcosm, or whatever I can reach, to bring the kindness. Maybe that's my job.
You have more work to do. And yeah,
we all do.
More to be said and more to be done. Right.
We all do. I mean, if it's not all of us, like they say, I'm a Buddhist. So they say that if you go into a dark cave and it's completely dark and you bring one flashlight, you light up the cave. One flashlight. So be the flashlight. And that's what I thought. Maybe that's why I'm here. And maybe I can reach out, because I was very, very sick for a while. And now that I'm kind of back with energy, maybe that's my calling, to just bring that in my work. And I will bring a portion of that on the 24th of April. And then any opportunity I get before then, hopefully. I haven't had many opportunities yet, but you, Mr. Masters.
It's been a possible memoir in the offing too, right? You've been toying with that idea.
Yes. And yes, I've got tapes. I just need someone to write it. I've got tapes. I've got a Star Trek.
She's got the tapes.
Not the tapes. And they're not porno tapes.
or Watergate or any of that, right?
then the Trek Untold, there's they did this big interview with me on Trek Untold. And so I've got that, and I don't think he expected the interview to be quite as lengthy as it became. And then about a few months afterwards, he comes to me, his name's Matthew, that is in charge of Trek Untold. And he said, people are really loving your Trek Untold interview. Would you do some more? And I'm like, more? More? I think I kind of gave you almost everything. He said, well, they're kind of, anyway, so, and then I would love to do one more Star Trek. Or as many as they would ever let me.
How cool would that be, huh?
Yeah. Having 3 under my belt would be amazing.
Absolutely
But
right.
you know what? Any work would be, I'd be so grateful.
You're an extraordinary
Isn't that
career
great?
on so many levels, you know? So many things you've done and continue to do that have touched people over the years, with your humor, with your caring, with your just overall talent, even Funny or Die. We showed the clip of that as well. And
That's Robert Wool.
yes, if she can even tell that with the cup over his face.
Well, I produced it. I produced that Funny or Die.
So many incredible shows and movies and classic material as well, as we were talking about.
Here are the pictures of me and Newhart.
I tell you.
That's Last Look.
Yes.
That's
Creepy
Last Look.
Couch. Yeah. Yep. Gidget. Really cool stuff.
But where
And of
is
course,
Newhart?
going all the way back to Nurse Sherry.
Sherry.
Yeah.
Look at that little baby girl.
I tell you.
Baby girl that was killing people.
And still effervescent. Look at that shot. That's a fantastic shot. Fantastic shot.
Yeah.
This was amazing, Jill Jacobson. I'm so glad. And our wonderful friend, dear Chris Corman.
Oh, what a sweetheart.
He's amazing. And I know he'll be watching and commenting as well. He's just absolutely fantastic. What a pleasure and a delight. I've always admired you and your work and your tenacity and, you know, your fortitude, but yet your attention to detail, your caring heart. And I look forward to welcoming you back to the show. We're going to keep the porch light on for you, as we always say.
Oh, please keep the porch light on.
We are keeping that porch light on, and I hope you spread the word about the Jim Masters
Show.
Anybody
in LA, buy a ticket for April 24th. I don't know what
24th. And they can learn more about everything. JillJacobson.net is the website. It's a really cool website with all the photo galleries and all kinds of cool stuff there, gang. And
and I have a manager in New York.
You got a manager in New York, so we'll have to see you hopefully here on the East Coast.
Oh.
Definitely let me know and spread the word.
Order, please.
Yeah, New York pizza. Spread the word about our series. If you know other folks you think would like to pop on,
sure.
It's all conversational. It's warm. It's easy. We don't do it like a typical interview, and we do it with all the lovities watching, commenting from around the world. They already say, yeah, you're a lovity. You're already a Jim Master Show lovity. And, I say there's Tonys and Grammys and Peabodys and Emmys and Tellys and all these fabulous awards, Grammys. But when you're a lovity on the Jim Masters Show, most people say their feet start tingling. Jill, are your feet tingling right now?
It's my heart.
The heart is tingling.
My heart is tingling.
That is perfect. One of our guests said they started levitating when they heard they were a lovity.
I
That's
think
the
that's
way we
a
do it here.
wonderful word, but I think it should be Lovety. You don't need the I.
You know who's here to say hi? Mr. George Burns.
Hi,
George Burns with a cigar. My aunt collected dolls, big serious collector of dolls, thousands of dollars worth of dolls, had a big room in her house in Connecticut with all the dolls, got passed down to me, and he pops on and He said you knocked it out of the park. He absolutely loved the
Oh, George, I
conversation.
love you.
Did you ever meet him or work with him?
No,
Yeah.
no.
He was a class act. Talk about old school,
Did
huh?
you ever meet him?
I never got the chance. No, I never got the chance to meet him.
There is somebody that I wish I could have met when before he got Alzheimer's. And that was Jimmy Stewart.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
my father was in World War II. He was a
Mhm.
flight surgeon in World War II.
Yeah.
And his colonel was James M. Stewart, former movie actor. And my father created bifocal lenses that they used in the war. And
Really?
he was awarded the Bronze Star.
This
And it
is
was awarded
incredible.
to him by Jimmy Stewart,
By Jimmy Stewart.
former movie actor.
Yeah.
And I can't take this over there, but I
Yeah.
have the Bronze Star on the wall with the newspaper, in the newspaper where it shows that James M. Stewart awarded it to my father.
How
You know,
cool
and
is
they were
that?
the planes were small.
Yeah.
So my dad would have known him. He would have known my dad because that was a big honor. And, but by the time I ran into him, he had Alzheimer's and I couldn't have brought the story up to him, unfortunately,
Yeah.
But
thanks for sharing it with us. I mean, that's such a beautiful story, Jill. Really fantastic. Really appreciate all the time. We chatted for an hour and a half.
oh my God, really?
Yeah, didn't even talk about,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Don't you love that reaction? That was almost like a spit. That
Wow.
was almost like a spit take. If she had water, she would have done a spit take. She rolled back in the swivel chair. Oh
Oh
my
my goodness.
God.
I
That
thought
was
my
that was
dog
a
walker
great
was going to be
reaction.
here.
I
Yeah.
love that reaction.
Yeah. My dog walker said she was going to be here at 3.
Swivel any further back,
Oh,
you would have been
okay.
on your deck on the tarp. Well,
Isn't that
yeah,
ugly? I'm so sorry.
every
It's
guest
not
that,
radio.
no, that's terrific. Every guest, yeah, next time we do the show, we'll do it in your backyard when the tarp is gone.
Oh, it's so
We'll have
beautiful.
Chris Corman over.
Can you come over? Well,
He'll
you're in
come
New
up.
York. Can you
Well,
fly?
yeah, I fly everywhere. And this was really fantastic. And yeah, we chatted for an hour and a half, and everybody says it never feels like that. It goes so fast, like a
What are the
conversation.
chatties saying? Are you getting chats?
Yes, and there'll be more coming in as well. So you're fantastic, Jill Jacobson. I really
Thanks, Mr. Mass.
sincerely appreciate all the time. Thanks for all the years of extraordinary entertainment, and much blessing and joy and love to you. Continue to entertain us, continue to make us laugh and think and smile and cry. And we will definitely have you back. And I hope the show met whatever expectations you had and you enjoyed the time with me.
Beyond.
Oh,
Beyond.
thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. My father has always said, and I always mention this, even as kids, I was like 8 years old when he used to always still give these nuggets, adult-like nuggets to us when we were kids. And one of the things that he said, which still sticks greatly, deeply for me, is he would say, like I was 8 years old, and he said, Jim, whenever anybody says something kind or nice to you, ask them to please put it in writing and address it management. Whoever and whatever management is, just get those good words up to that
Send
management.
letters.
Send letters.
Send letters.
Positive letters to management.
Positive letters to Quentin Tarantino.
And all the rest to Jim
Jonathan
and Jill.
Frakes.
Yeah, and Jim and Jill.
That would be great.
You're a beautiful soul, and I really appreciate all the time. Over an hour and a half, phenomenal, free flowing, no scripts, no questions pre-prepared, just solid, real. Don't need any of that. Authentic conversation, old school, Cavett style. It's what we do, and I hope you spread the word. And I wish you nothing but continued joy. And let's definitely stay in touch, Jill. This was This was really wonderful.
Okay.
You be well, okay?
Thank you very much.
You're going to go make a sandwich now?
Sandwich. That sounds great.
Yes.
I have all the makings. I
You've
could
got
do
all the
that.
makings. Jill
Yeah.
loves to cook. Next time she's
Yeah.
on, she's going to have food in front of her. We'll
Oh,
talk
I'd love to
food.
do a cooking show.
That would be so nice, huh?
I'd love to do almost any show.
You're good. Yeah, you're so multi-talented and versatile we really just scratched the surface of it, but we hit upon, some major things in your epic career. But they throw anything at you. I think if they said do a game show, you'd be able to do it.
Oh.
Yeah, you'd have a riot with it. It would be fantastic.
Yeah.
See?
I used to love Jeopardy.
Jeopardy and all.
I used to love Jeopardy growing
Fantastic, so never say never,
up. Right.
We love you, Jill Jacobson.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Jim.
This was a pleasure.
Master Jim.
Absolutely. We'll keep that light on for you. And again, we thank you, and of course our buddy Chris Corman. And we'll get together again real soon on the Jim
I
Masters
hope so.
Show.
Thank you very much. It's been great.
You be well, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. You take care. The incomparable Jill Jacobson here on the Jim Masters Show series, our entertainment, lifestyle, celebrity talk show series, where we're bringing back the lost art of conversation, and we're doing it in style. Wasn't she delightful, funny, witty, on point? We talked about her career. We talked about her passions. Even the dogs came in and they did a little barking for us. And we talked about, her upbringing, but we also talked about the things that she's passionate about in life, upcoming projects too. Of course, her comedy routines, shows that she's known for, upcoming projects, and lots of other cool things. Really a nice full circle conversation. We didn't dwell just on one show or one series, really an encompassing conversation about Jill and who she is. And what's great about conversations like this on the Jim Masters Show series, the way we do it, is now when you see her in other shows and performances and movies and television or on stage, you're going to have an even deeper appreciation of who she is, where she came from, what her joys and passions are, the things that really matter to her, maybe some other nuggets you didn't even know about Jill as well, and the things that make her tick, make her smile. And I think that's what's so cool about what we do. We don't script this. There's no teleprompter. We just have good, honest conversations with our light love and our levity, or as we call it, JMS Levity. Thanks to all the great comments, everybody, our viewers, our Levity Squad viewers watching around the world. We love all of you. Spread the word about the Jim Masters Show series. It's an entertainment show, a variety show, lifestyle series, a celebrity talk show. And again, our guests come in from Hollywood, television, music, film, Broadway, stage, as well as health and wellness, culinary arts, comedy, sports, everything like a talk show would. I am Jim Masters, your host, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, we don't say goodbye around here. We say see you later. Ciao, cheers, moya loop, slancha, shalom, sayonara, hasta la vista, avida zane, cheerio, take care and be well. And don't forget, gang, we always say at the end, take care of one another, love one another, take care of yourself, and don't forget to relax. And you can see all the episodes right here on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. This episode is archived on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. You can find me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Jim Masters TV. Jill, of course, JillJacobson.net, and everywhere else she's available too. And we love you all. Thanks so much for stopping by, and hope you enjoyed the episode. Definitely, of course, as we always say, give this episode a thumbs up, like. There's a little like icon on our YouTube channel on all the episodes. It looks like that. It's a big thumbs up. Maybe not as sparkly and fancy as ours is, but give that a thumbs up. Leave a comment on the YouTube channel, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. There's about 900 episodes of our series and counting for you to peruse and enjoy with all these great guests and all these extraordinary conversations right here on the Jim Masters Show. One more time, we thank Jill Jacobson for joining us. She gave us her heart, her soul, lots of smiles, lots of great conversations, and really poignant moments. And we thank all of you. We'll see you on the next episode, okay? We love having you here. It's always a pleasure. And for all of us here at the Jim Masters Show, you take care and be well, and cheers.